I'm about to break down how I built my website using React and give you a lot of probably useless information at the same time. So my initial website was different than this, and I have a video on that I'll show as well, but essentially I just wanted to show what I did. So I did this whole thing in React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. I used Netlify for hosting and then linked it to my DNS, marcusoverstreet.com. So this was my first experiment with parallax pages. See here. And then I have all my individual links: GitHub, YouTube, LinkedIn, my homepage, my projects page. On the projects page, you can go down, you can see different projects I've worked on, and as I film videos for these, see here, they will show up like this. I give the title of my projects with a little description, and then as you hover over these little badges, you can see what that specific, what the stack was for that. So as I do more and move away from front end towards back end and full stack, more badges will show up, but all these have React except for this one down here. When you click on these links, you can go to the individual projects that are show up in here, and I won't get into those in great detail. There's a little about me section here, just says a little bit, and then there's a contact me form where you can put your name, your email, information that you would like to question or anything like that, and then you can send it and I'll get an email. I didn't really do any back-end hosting on that. I just set up an account with another company. I believe, we'll see what it is actually. Let's do PPPPPP email. Let's do my email, and then let's go hello, and then send email, and it is FormSpark. That's what it was. So I'll get an email through my website for that, which is great. But what I wanted to show you was kind of the code for this. Oops, here we go. My bad. So just getting into it, first of all, I used React Router. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. I use route and routes to link to homepage, projects, about me, and contact. And this was actually really fun to do. I had learned how to do that already, but the part that was hard was actually the refresh page. So when you go onto each of these different pages, if you hit refresh, it normally did a 404 error, and so I had to figure out how to fix that problem, and I did that by taking the 404 HTML. I used this page from Spa GitHub Pages and followed his directions and added this script in here, and then also in the index I added a script, and what it does is it redirects using the browser with a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. But he explains it pretty well, and so I was able to solve the problem. And the reason why this is an issue is because I'm doing client-side routing, so I'm not sending anything to the server when the refresh button hits. So instead, it captures the URL, it parses it out properly to redirect the user to the appropriate URL. And so this way, we're not doing multiple server requests, it's just server-side rendering, which is pretty cool. That was probably the biggest thing. That and the parallax was the biggest thing I learned. And I believe I've also made this fully mobile friendly. So I've got this little drawer here. I use material components, so I use the MUI material components for this in React Router. So I got these things here. All these links work. And on the mobile version, the videos don't show up, but the link to the video shows up. So it'll say see video, you can click on it. But in normal version, they all show up. So, and I think that's for the most part it. Just did some CSS styling to make sure that everything looked okay based on which page you were on, and it's pretty fun. So the couple of things I wanted to highlight, keep going the wrong way here. Like I said, so I have my normal pages, my app, my index. I also have my about and about info. What I'm doing here is I set this up kind of like a template, so if I wanted to redo a page similar to this, I separate my my dynamic information from my actual function. So I tried to build the website as functional as possible, so that it wasn't there was no way to mutate the data. So For example, in the components page, or excuse me, in the pages on the the project, for example, I have a map that I use in multiple places, and I'm dynamically rendering information from project list. So what I have here is a list of projects in an object form, as you see over here, and individual IDs, and each of them have a title, a description, a video, website, a GitHub, and then tags. These tags render the icons on the page. The description's here, the title's here, the video's here, and the link, which this opens to, right? Well, that one was not really fair because that's my personal. That's this website, which the video for this that I'm recording right now, you'll see is going to be right here. It's super inception-y. So Upwork clone, you go here, which I'll show that later, but that's the idea, is that I wanted to make it so that I wanted to use the components themselves. So I have all these organized, and I'm going to continue add new ones, probably to the top, which I'll reverse these IDs. But new projects will go on top, and old projects will go on the bottom. And then I also have about info. I do the same thing here for the about page, and but other than that, most of this is pretty straightforward, and the components are pretty small. So this component is 50 pages. This home component is 85 pages, and that's a lot of this. The parallax, which was a lot of fun to work with, by the way. The project itself, the project page was 98, and I think the one that was the most, and I used the MUI component for this, was the nav bar. And that's because this does mobile and display, and so I had to go through and I had to make sure it fit with my website. Everything looks good. The color, the font, all sorts of stuff was off. The padding, the margins, so I had to deal with that. And then I have my style components page where I took different material components and then I styled them so that I would have less inline CSS basically. So anyway, that's about it. So this was actually a lot of fun. It took me in my free time about a week to finish this whole site, which is I think pretty good. So yeah, I think that's all I have. So thanks a lot.